Now, I did promise that we're going to keep our artistic talk up quite a bit, because I'm joined by a Mescal, a Mr. Morgan Mescal. People may know that surname from a different type of Mescal, but they will know it from this gentleman's name. He has a few films in development. Some have been released, working on the TV shows from America and Ireland. I'd like to join in the studio by Morgan Mescal. Morgan, how are you, sir?
Yes, hello, Shane. How's it going?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for regaling us with your presence, sir, I must say.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was chatted to Sue here before about 3 years ago, and that was through the phone, so it's great to actually be here sitting in the studio this time. And
bit of a different experience.
Oh, definitely getting accustomed to all this now. It's great.
Sue's a better interviewer than me, I just want to say. I don't hold a candle to Sue, none. Yeah. Not many people do.
Did I hear you said your birthday's on the 28th? Fun fact, mine's on the 29th. Just the day after.
There we are.
Yeah.
Not only you stealing Shannon stole my birthday, but you're stealing the day after. You're stealing my thunder, Morgan. But honestly, in the middle of editing your own movie, The Ripper, I've been there, man. I've been in the middle of an editing booth. I know how tough and tasking and mentally exhausting it can be. How are you finding the process?
The edit itself, super easy, because I have an editor down in Galway, great guy called Ian Kelly. I just, every time I get a scene done, whip down the footage down to Galway, and he'll edit up as I go. But The Ripper, it's my first ever short film that I've decided to tackle straight after college. I felt with college, there's a lot of deadlines. You can never really put proper creativeness into it. It's more rush. But yeah, Jack the Ripper, it brings us back to 1888 London, and I've put a little twist on it. He's actually a hero, so he's fighting and slaying vampires.
Oh, wow.
So it's supernatural, not quite factual. But there is, of course, the same character names and stuff. So we have the two inspectors, Edmund Reed and Frederick Aberdeen, who are the real inspectors at the time. And then we have the canonical five, the famous victims of the Ripper. So their names are in there, those characters are in there, but they're vampires.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's kind of like a play on what Quentin Tarantino does. He looks at history and kind of messes around with a bit of history and stuff. So we have our own Tarantino here.
Hopefully.
To recreate that London of that era must be incredibly hard. Now, I know that there's some similarities on the medieval perspective, but did you find that quite cumbersome when you were coming to shoot stuff?
Yes, so that was one of the big tasks that I had straight off the bat. So in terms of costumes, locations especially, so first thing I thought of, I'm staying in Carlow, so I went straight down to Kilkenny, and it's got some wonderful, really old style locations, such as the Butter Slip is one of the places I immediately went to film, and then around St. Canice's Cathedral was a great backdrop for some of the shots. So because trying to get that period look, it's very difficult. Like, there's always a signpost, a modern signpost, or a car parked in the exact spot you want to shoot. So it's difficult, but we did our best, and so far what I have is really good looking. And costumes was another thing, so got a lot of costumes in that look really, really old, so that really helps get the audience into that world of 1888.
And in terms of getting people, your actors, into that world of 1888, how did you find that process? Being a director, telling people what you wanted them to do, or them coming to you with ideas and you're going to have them to bounce back and forth. What kind of director do you want to be, or are you already?
Yes, so it is a very collaborative process making a film. You go in there with so many plans, and like, I'm a big storyboarder, so I'll actually physically draw all my shots, shot by shot by shot. I think there was like 600 pictures. I was doing them over Christmas Day with the turkey in one side and the picture and a pencil in the other hand. But I'm quite a planner. But then you get to the day, and obviously you see the big picture of the whole film that you want to make, so you don't quite go into every single character so detailed. But then when you give that character to an actor, they go home, they study that character, and they become that character in a way. Especially some of my actors they're very good actors, and they come up with their own ideas of how Jack the Ripper should do this, or how he'd do that, or why he wants to do that, and that just brings so many more ideas to the table that they bring. And sometimes I stick to my guns. I'm like, no, I really want him to do this, but other times I'm like, damn, that's a really great idea, let's throw that in there.
And where are you finding your actors?
So a lot of them, most of them I actually found in Star now. It's kind of a free website for actors to start up and get their career going.
Yeah.
So they'll put up their show reels, what they've done. So I have videos, I look at the videos, and that's mainly how I found all of them. I just hit them up on Instagram, and they were like, yeah, sure. And a lot of them had done a lot of short films for students, and they really liked my one because it stands out, because it was so ambitious. It's a short film about a period piece, Jack the Ripper, and all these characters that they really wanted to portray.
Yeah, nice. It sounds pretty cool. It's not the first thing, obviously, that you've worked on. I hope not, because jumping into that time period, And jumping into the supernatural as a first one would be quite daunting. So have you a bit of stuff backing you up here?
Like I would have done numerous short films in college. That's kind of the main thing I would have had. I would have worked with Shannon actually on a couple of short films. None that I would really exactly throw on the CV.
Was she any good?
Oh, she's brilliant.
Is she good?
Yeah,
Okay.
she does get the whip out now and again when my camera work was a bit off. But we had a few arguments. It's all in the past. It's all in the past. But yeah, definitely like it's an experimental film for me as well, because in the college I didn't have much time to do effects and things like that, and like there's a lot of blood, gore, kind of injury details. So I had to get makeup artists involved. They did a great job. And then for the vampires in my script, they can move from A to B in a flash, just really, really fast. So had to get effects in there. So having to, find out how am I going to film this? How am I going to do this in post? And a lot of time I had it planned. Other times I was like, I'd planned it, and the editor would be like, no, this is not working.
This is impossible.
Exactly. So there was, there's again more collaboration. You're working with actors, you're working with the cameraman, and then you're working with the editor to try and make sure this all ties together in the end of it all.
And then you're trying to keep your hair at the same time.
Exactly. It's quite a stressful process. even the fangs, we had these prop fangs they're meant to like come pop down out of the mouth, like, and had prop fangs bought like 3 different brands. None of them worked, so we ended up I was like, we'll do it in post. And in fairness to the editor, like, he made it come out so well.
We're gonna the poor editor. We're gonna take some time to respect the editor. But we're gonna take a bit of music. We'll be back with you, Morgan. Don't go anywhere. Lots more questions still to ask. If you have any questions for Morgan about filmmaking, 083 306 9696. And you can have time, about 15 minutes. During that time, I'm going to be filling the airways with some filmmaking madness as I'm joined by Morgan Mescal. Do you like that alliteration? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
all the M's. Filmmaking madness, Morgan Mescal.
Brilliant.
Boom. There we go.
People have commented on that before. I like it.
The Ripper is what we were talking about, but you do have another film that you're working on. Peak.
Yes, so Peak, it's actually done, one of the films I have done, and actually I never considered myself a director when I was filming The Ripper because I haven't it done, but now I finally do because I have a film done. So Peak is another film. It is about 2 characters, Shifra and Tig, played by Niamh Mahoney and Noel McInerney. And basically it's 2 characters. One's gone up a mountain, he's in a very dark place, and he basically goes up to end his life. And luckily for him, Niamh comes along and they reconcile. They had previous past drama, and compared to The Ripper, this is totally just a story-driven 2 characters up on a mountain, and it's quite a deep emotional piece, and it's exactly what Tig needs to bring a bit of happiness back into his life and a bit of friendship that, it's his final kind of reach out to chat to her to kind of save me, and luckily for him in the end, it does work.
Are you writing these?
I wrote The Ripper. Wouldn't say script writing is my biggest thing. It's probably why it's all action and flashy, kind of waving hands in front of the camera. Don't ignore the story. But a guy called Greg Young, he has a company called Sweet Peace Productions, and he wrote this brilliant piece. And he just threw it up in his story. He was like, anyone want to direct this? And I gave him my thoughts, and he had a couple of directors come to him, and luckily he chose me. So it was my first paid directing gig, so I was delighted with that. And so...
Is it hard to direct in other people's stories? Or do you prefer directing your own?
It was different for sure, but I took it as an opportunity to try and learn to direct actors more so than, it can be very practical of, like, people come to you, what lens do you want to use? Do you want to use an 18mm wide lens, or do you want to go tighter? Or, costume coming, do you want red? Do you want blue? What shirt do you want? Whereas when an actor comes to you and is like, how do we get more emotion in the scene? You got to dig a little bit deeper, and I was at fault a lot in The Ripper for saying, we need to be sad, or we need to be angry. It's like a dial on the radio where you can, turn it up a notch. It's a very mechanical thing to say. Whereas this, it's a lot tougher. So in the last scene, Noel, the actor, he has to go up to the edge of the mountain, and he has a suicide note. And he realises he's made a mistake. He tears up the note, and he throws it off the cliff.
Spoilers?
Well, look. Oops. Producers listen to this now and be like, Morgan, shut up. But anyways, so he does this, but originally we had planned, okay, we'll have a prop note, we'll give him that, he can tear it up. But the day before I rang Noel, and I was like, look, because we'd bonded, we'd been chatting, we had a lot of auditions of people, and finally I picked Noel, and we'd been bonding, chatting away, and he had told me he'd been through some dark times, and he'd been at low points and stuff, so I asked him, would he mind, writing his deep thoughts, like, no camera will see it, it's just for him. So on the day, he agreed to do it. He said it'll definitely help. So on the day, I cleared all the rest of the set. It was just me and him. And I didn't want to ask him something that I wouldn't do myself. So two of us sat there a few feet apart from each other. I wrote down on my list kind of dark things that I'd gone through, deep emotional stuff as well, so I can kind of get in the same headspace as the actor, because you need to know what they're going through as well. And so we're both there, really emotional on top of this mountain, and then I got a call over the cameraman. Okay, get the camera here, put it right in his face, do all this stuff, and it's one of the proudest shots I've ever had, because awesome. I know it's not acting, it's real emotion, it's what he really felt that time, and it's a way for him to also, as Tyke needed to do, release that emotion, just let it go off the mountain.
Awesome, that's art, man.
Thank you.
That's art. That's what it is. That's what you made. Looking forward to seeing it. On your journey and onto your own kind of creative endeavours, you have to do a lot of stuff. That maybe you might want to do, maybe you do like doing. Well, you work in a kind of corporate realm. You work in television production. As a director, how do you find that when you want to be doing your own stuff and maybe your camera up and something? Like, how are you finding that, and what are you working on?
Yeah, it's really tough to make money out of short films. There's not really many ways to do it, bar enter big film festivals and make money.
Which costs money.
Yeah, exactly. So making films, especially a period piece, costs a whole lot of money. So I work as a camera assistant for a couple of different various companies around Ireland in the TV industry. So do a lot of rugby games for RTE and TG Carter. That's my main kind of income during the year. And then occasionally those companies also have TV shows. So at the moment I'm working on Dance with the Stars as a camera assistant.
What?
I hear, did I see Brian Redmond dancing around there?
Is he nice to you?
Oh yeah, no, he's very good. I bumped into him a couple times.
He is lovely, but is he nice to you?
Well,
I want all the juicy gossip.
I'll have to send him my film and he can score it out of 10. So we'll see what he gives it. But yeah, so I bumped into Brian a couple of times. Dance with the Stars, great show. Tune in Sunday. 6:30.
He's going to love that now.
Do I get a raise for that? Or the producers? But yeah, so we've that going on. And then we also have a lot of American shows coming over. So at the moment, I'm operating a camera for its music game show where contestants come on, guess a tune, win money. And I'm on a camera that's behind the band on a track, and I push it over and back and try and make fancy shots. So really enjoying that. It's kind of my first big gig as a camera operator in the TV world, so trying to take it with both hands, and hopefully they'll get me for more gigs.
Awesome, man. I can see with the smile on your face that you love what you do. Where did you learn to do all this?
So I studied TV and media production in IT Carlo, which is now SETU Carlo.
Woo! SETU!
Yes, go Carlo. So yeah, really great course. I do recommend it. They have like a studio actually in the campus, which is great. Back then, kind of just figuring out, okay, this is zoom in, this is zoom out, but now you start to learn, like working on dance and these Fox shows. I've worked with some of the best cameramen in Ireland, so we've got the likes of, there's probably names, but I'll just give him a shout out. His is Bill Corky on dance. He's fabulous
Bill Corky.
Yeah, he does all those cool shots of Jennifer Zapparelli back from the break that
awesome.
Kind of zooms in.
No, I see his name on it. I see his name.
Good. And then we've got Paul Littler, the camera supervisor on both shows. He was involved with Game of Thrones and stuff, so big names, and just a lot of people say I'm quiet at work, but honestly I'm just surveying everything, taking it all in. And
they're going to be on the radio and be like, and I worked with Morgan Mescal.
Yeah,
man.
one day.
Just letting you know, Morgan Mescal, he's the best, and I assume they all talk like this as well. All right, Mescal, look, we can't skip past it, right? When's he going to be in one of your movies? Paul, Academy Award nominee.
Yeah, he's got the BAFTAs coming up, I think.
BAFTAs is on the way.
Yeah, no, I'm super proud of him. He's doing really, really well. As for getting into my movies, I gotta talk to Ridley Scott and see what dates he's available at the moment. Cause
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2 is coming up. I'm super excited for
What are they going to do with that? Has he told you?
I've seen photos. I met him over the summer. I've seen photos, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say stuff, so I'm not gonna. Yeah,
no spoilers.
Trouble, but yeah, no, the photos look absolutely incredible.
Is he sound?
Oh yeah, he's like.
Does he always wear GEA shorts?
It's common enough.
It's mad though, in terms of superstar.
Yeah, it's mega. It's very surreal for me as well. I
was about to ask.
What we were doing. He came down to Clare once and we were surfing, and so he was carrying the surfboard in front of me. We were just finished. He's going in, and I'm there maybe 5 feet behind him. And there's just girls kind of casually walking past, and so they pass him, and of course, as soon as they're past him, phones out, right behind him, taking the photos. And of course, he doesn't see it. I see it. So it's very surreal. But it's mad. I'm so happy that he's on Gladiator, because when we were kids, we'd always
awesome movie.
He'd come down to the farmyard and we'd pretend playing before the time of kids playing video games. That pre-era, we were all playing outside with sticks and pretend guns, Nerf guns and stuff. So
I was always the Joaquin Phoenix character. I was always the lad that was giving the thumbs up and thumbs down. But yeah, it's an amazing thing. You're going to have to be giving him a call. Paul, it's your brother. It's your cousin Morgan. Here.
Yeah.
Right? I have a new script. You're in it. All right. Don't talk to your agent. Don't talk to your agent. You've got to be in it.
Just do it.
Like Brian Corkery here. He's going to film it, and we're going to make a class movie.
I'll try my best. One day, that is the dream, though. That is the dream. Like the.
Would you film? Would you film like as you were kids and stuff?
No,
or acted different things.
We would have acted together, messing like with the gunfighting and the sword fighting in the yard and stuff. But no, film was never really on our minds. I know, like Paul was big into his football. He was playing for the Kildare Miners. He was the captain. He played was a fullback or something. And the reason I got into it was I wanted to be a cameraman for the Premier League because I was super into soccer. Play soccer, still do. Try to when I have a day off. But yeah, so we totally different paths. But then he definitely inspired me because when he got in, I was in college and he started to get big with his Denny's ad, Ballyhonus, and and then he got Normal People, and I was like, wow, this film stuff was pretty cool. So I started. Obviously, I was learning a little bit in college as well, and that's kind of what drove me to start writing films and trying to make stuff. So he's definitely been a huge inspiration in my life.
Well, Morgan, it's been a pleasure having you in here. I'm sure Shannon is very jealous that I got to interview you, but I'm very happy that I got to speak to you. I can see the delight in your eyes. Hopefully people can hear the delight in your voice and the passion for what you do. The Ripper in post-production. Peak is finished. When can people hope to see him? Is it going to do its festival route and then wherever it lands?
There'll be a festival route and then it'll be up on Sweet Peace Productions YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to check it out, you can go on there. He's got a few other short films on there as well. So yeah.